have a quorum, but it's not a thing. So,
Well, don't you do attendance?
I mean,
You're the chair of attendance?
I usually just circle who's here and who's not, and to go by the sign in, but we can't. Anyway, no, we're not gonna do that. Anyway, call to order. What the hell time is it? I don't have a phone.
6:45.
Great, love it. So, those of you that know Metropolitan Avenue and like Driggs, there's like that triangle by the firehouse.
Yeah.
And if you look at this picture, you will see this improvised sculpture bench. Well, yeah, go. And
That thing?
Yeah.
apparently today, our new DOT rep said, "What do we know about this? Was it ever approved?" That thing has been there almost as long as I've been in the neighborhood. So I don't know. It's not bothering anybody. We don't have to take a vote on it or anything. But if anybody knows its origin or history,
What are they doing at SMZ Square?
Pedestrian ramps.
Oh, ramps.
but I mean, it's like in the middle of the
I
triangle.
heard that Wasad, Williamsburg High School Architecture and Design were working on, their students there were working with a teacher on like a larger redesign of that space.
Mhm.
Lisa Bloodgood was working with them
Okay.
and like looking at the space in its
How
entirety.
long ago?
Last year, earlier this year,
Okay.
maybe last year.
Okay.
But I don't know. But this is not that. This is just their regular. They got sued. They got to install ped ramps.
That's what the email says, yeah.
Okay.
This is just the regular pro forma ped ramp stuff. This is not a large original.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to affect, because it's like not even close to a transit.
I think that it's just aberrant and they have to
Yeah.
act on it.
I mean, I guess it's guerrilla art. I don't know. It doesn't bother anybody. Sometimes I see people like using it as a bench and like. Yes, Austin.
On land use, we started flyering for changes. So should we put a flyer up on the bench or around in the vicinity of the bench? Hey, if this bench means a lot to you, or you know why it's here.
2007 though.
Made out of concrete.
That thing has been there longer than 2007.
I think it's as far as back as Google Maps goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Geo-
moved here in 2005, and I remember seeing it. You know, when we first moved, I was exploring.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there. I don't remember it ever not being there. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't live down there, but I was down there all the time when I first moved here. I don't know.
I wonder
It's 30 years
if you
ago.
asked Gio, D'Amato, Giovanni,
Oh, yeah.
a teacher at Wasad, not him, because in 2007 he would have been in high school like me. But if it's a teacher at there would know.
Okay, I'll ask him.
He lives in that neighborhood.
But he's the vice principal of the school, so I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's like
Yeah.
it's close enough in proximity
Yeah.
that, you know.
All right. Well, that's that. If anybody can think of anything, email us. Or email the board office. We'll send it over to Maria Cruz, who's our new rep.
Have you met her yet, or it's just
I have
been?
not. Well, I haven't encountered her.
Okay.
I know, but if you ask me to describe, I can't remember her face at all.
Oh, yeah. You're a good judgment of characters, so.
Do we also need to discuss the
Maybe.
the email from Lloyd about intro 1421? Was that something for
It can be if you
Transportation
want
Committee?
to.
Well, no, I just saw this email to.
Which one? Wait.
Oh, no, this was for
1421.
executive.
No.
This wasn't for
Yeah,
transportation. Never
yeah.
mind.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Keep us
That 1421, by the way, is the year-round outdoor dining. So,
Yeah. Okay.
and I talked to Kelly in Lincoln's office, and because I have a vested interest, and I wanted to know when the committee hearing was going to be at City Council, and she had said, and Lincoln alluded to this on Tuesday, that it had been rescheduled a couple times since he introduced it. And she said it's doubtful that it's going to go to committee before the holidays, before like Christmas.
Yeah.
She said it might, but she's unlikely. They don't expect a vote until sometime into 26. There she is.
Yay!
With their witchy cone and everything.
The L train, I did bring a costume. It's a holiday.
I love it.
We're recording.
Anyway, so it's not in the near future. We'll see.
Nine sponsors right now,
Yeah,
so it'll reset in the new year.
yeah.
What is this?
1421 year-round
You're
Outdoor.
outdoor dining or roadside dining.
Did you tell them about the new plaza?
Yeah,
burying the
already.
lead.
Yeah. Oh, Scott Avenue. They just put that new plaza in between Flushing, Johnson.
Oh, the one they were.
Where Philippe
they
Houseman
presented
was
on,
killed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Oh, I was just over there. I wasn't on that block though. I was a little further west of it.
Do you want me to help get you set up?
I did try past Bushwick Place in Johnson though.
Yeah. Are you Rafi?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Rafi's the one who emailed us
Hi.
about it. So, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. What's going on at Bushwick Place in Johnson?
So right on Bushwick Place, there is a stop sign,
Okay.
but on Johnson Avenue there isn't.
Mhm.
So both sides has commercial traffic. You literally have to drive into the middle of the block, and every time there's an incoming traffic honking at you, and there's no way to do it. Not only that, like I have young niece and nephew comes in. We're trying to cross the street. And
No
the amount of-
crosswalks.
No
Yeah, there's no
crosswalks.
crosswalk.
It's only northbound on the
It's-
south side of Johnson, right? On
Bushwick Avenue, Bushwick
Bushwick
Place is,
Place.
yeah, but Johnson is two-way.
Johnson is two-way, but I think isn't Bushwick Place two-way on the
Bushwick is-
north side of?
No.
No, it's just one
only
way.
It's just one
It's
way.
northbound.
Northbound.
Northbound, yeah.
Okay,
And then it ends in Meserole Street.
because that's all funky IBZ over
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
so
it's
everything's a little
there's a lot of
twisted.
commercial.
Yeah, no, it's all commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on the north side.
Yeah, exactly.
On the north side, on the south side, it's mixed. Mixed
Um,
use.
and there is no one yields to anyone. So
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's
I've
bad.
been living there for 6 years, and I've seen cars getting T-boned
Oh,
right on
I'm
that
sure.
corner.
I'm sure.
And so when I reached out to DOT, they're saying that there's no issue, and I clearly see there is an issue there. Either put a walk sign or even a stop sign or some sort of sign. There's nothing there.
It's next to that massive truck facility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
That's just south, with $3 bill, like,
exactly.
it's the one, like, it's
Mhm.
huge between Morgan and Bushwick Place.
I think it's kind of close to Bushwick, so maybe that's their resistance to putting another.
Well, yeah,
stop
it's
control
not even
there.
like a full block. It's
Yeah.
like maybe 150 feet.
I
From
mean,
the-
it
from
is
the
a full.
from the Bushwick Lake.
I guess, yeah, from Bushwick Avenue to Bushwick Place.
It's
That
not-
that corner is a longer block. The opposite side is a shorter block.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
There should be something there.
There
'cause,
there
yeah,
needs to be a
it's-
sign there. It's
I
just
mean, yeah.
dangerous.
I'll be at the
250 feet between Bushwick Avenue
Yeah,
and Bushwick
okay.
Place.
And that's
Sounds
2
right.
blocks away from a school,
And the library.
the libraries,
Yeah.
all there.
Yeah.
And Johnson Avenue is 40 feet wide.
But he put in a request for
Did you bring your
daylighting and
laptop today?
crosswalks.
Right.
And
What's
they
up?
Did
said,
you bring your laptop?
No,
Don't
it's
need it.
all, yeah, yeah.
Mine is not wanting to turn on.
We have the same problem here on
Do you need a
Jackson
charger,
and,
Meryl?
No, it's not
Grand
the
Avenue,
charger. Like
yeah,
when I pulled it
no
out of the
traffic
bag, it
lights.
was making a really weird noise.
And then
Oh.
on Jackson
Did it
and
go down?
Willow Point,
Yeah,
it makes a quick turn.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, so we constantly have accidents.
yeah, it's dangerous. I don't know, I also drive, so I see it. Like
Yeah.
trying to get out of the parking lot, I have to drive right into the middle.
This is nuts. So between White, this block is so long. So the next, as you're going east, between Bushwick Place and the next street, which is White,
White is left turn only. Or,
Well,
Is-
why they just put a red
Dead
light?
end.
there is,
But
but there's a
I don't know if
mid-block
you
crosswalk
Yeah.
there. There's like a mid-block crossing because it's like these streets terminate
No, I'm just saying about
south of that
sharing it.
facility. Like so, it's like you have Johnson that goes down.
Mhm.
Johnson goes
Same
across,
as the-
So you have these, like,
I think so.
mid-block.
And you can,
and it's a tenth of a mile. It's a tenth of a mile.
yeah, it's long.
No, it's a long block. There's I guess
Time?
red light
Yeah.
recently put on
It's
after
almost-
Netflix put
it's
in.
almost
700 feet.
So I have two neighbors.
Because it's almost like Morgan,
Scheduled
Okay.
I think I know
next
my
Thursday.
Canada.
it's a dead end northbound from Morgan almost
Sorry.
to
Babies like
Bushwick
that.
Place. And then you have those facilities and there's
It
tracks,
is,
so
it
tracks
literally
behind
is.
it. Yeah.
It literally is.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no other street that cuts through.
No.
Amazing.
Here, you wanna plug this in?
So
over there?
yeah, there's quite a bit of traffic there.
And then
It's
just
a long
open an
line.
incognito window and you can sign into your Gmail and,
Well, you want
and
people
I won't say about my computer.
healthy ones.
And Bushwick Place terminates,
Same.
Meserole Street.
Meserole by the school.
no, on the north, but in the south, where does it terminate? Burn?
Yeah.
So then when we were talking about names, boys and girls, I only focus on boys' name. He said, yeah, it's just a typical Puerto Rican chauvin's attention. You told me it's gonna be. And I said, well,
Yeah.
What's that?
It's so much easier with Google Maps out.
I didn't say it.
Oh, for sure.
I figured it out.
Sadly, again, I will say, my phone is
Weird
full
not
of
having
water.
your phone, right?
It's
Don't you
like-
feel kind of like
well,
you reach for like a phantom
Yeah.
phone?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and the reason I'm called was.
Yeah, I remember once I forgot mine. I was like so disoriented all day.
I turned the haptics off on my phone because like that ghost like jiggle.
Oh, well, that's what haptics are. Is like the
The jiggle.
Where it, like-
Oh.
I have no
Yeah.
no jiggle on my phone.
Yeah, because you feel like sometimes you realize your phone's not even in your pocket. And you're like,
It's
oh.
like your fabric, your coat moves on your phone.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what did I miss?
Too
much stress.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wait, there's a feature in your phone that makes it jiggle?
Really,
If it's not.
you know.
Well, I guess it's just like
Like
the
the
vibration
vibration.
when you get a text or.
Oh, yeah.
or-
It's like you
But it's
can
not
turn
like
that
happening from some like
This is plugged in,
weird
right? That has power? Okay.
shift.
No, I think you can just turn it off.
Oh,
entirely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's insane.
Because I mean, God knows what's on your phone.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm probably like reading my heart rate by now.
Yeah. His son was killed on he died in Arizona. And it was one of those that went so when
Well, I
he went
wonder
outside,
if
afraid
we might make a motion to write a letter.
What is going on today?
At least I'm on the I'm on the Wi-Fi for that right here.
Oh Lord.
This thing doesn't do Bluetooth. I can't just like send my phone. Boop.
Oh, it might.
Sorry, I should have brought my laptop.
I sent that email to you too, Brent. Bring your laptop.
you know, when you have
I did have my
stores within
laptop with me. I
families,
didn't
like
know it was
football,
going to decide
of course
today.
it's not-
Did
Did
it
you
not
laugh?
turn on?
Because it's
No.
military.
Although then again, if I
So-
brought my laptop here, it might have also crashed. You know, it just
Yeah.
seems to be this is the vortex.
Right.
True.
Historically accurate.
Yeah, that's right.
There may be some languages there,
It's
but
just mad about being in my
I
bag.
looked it up. There was a
All day.
line on that ship that said.
Sadly, you're the only thing on the agenda.
I know, that's why I'm like, we have to do this presentation.
All right. Well, as long as we're talking about, well, while we're waiting for technology, so we don't have a quorum, but I think we can do a resolution to send us ask for a study
Yeah. Okay.
What's the study for?
Of that.
of the
This
intersection.
is gonna be unanimous, so
Yeah. So I need a motion.
I motion.
William,
Second.
Aaron, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Study intersection.
Not bad, 6 members. You need like 9?
Seven.
No, who's 7?
Aaron and you,
Yeah.
and Eric and Samir, and Paul and Austin.
Because I don't think anybody studied that in
No.
forever, and it's in the IBZ, so it's like a lot of new stuff is happening down there. So
I mean, there's a hotel there. They just opened.
where's the hotel?
Aaron and you,
2.
and
2
Eric
blocks down.
and Samir.
Oh, on Bogart?
Paul.
I'm sorry.
Is it on Bogart?
6.
It's on Johnson.
Are you in the
and-
transport? Oh, that's right. She is now.
Johnson?
No, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Officially.
I will tell you.
The Alice did something right.
Yeah,
Making
Johnson
progress.
and Bogart, Nova Hotel just opened recently.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
I just
Oh,
got
that's
to
like
go past
across-
that too, but I
across
didn't
from
really.
Netflix, kinda. Across from the Netflix studio.
Okay.
can I briefly mention a new business or an old business thing?
Why not? Which is it? New or old?
I don't know. Little
Just
column A, little
business.
column B.
Thank you for your honesty.
Bron would have brought this up if you were here, but there's a couple of locations on McGinnis that we have been flagging for DOT as things that we expected them to do. Today is a year since they started the work on the bike lanes. October 30th was when they started the work at Meeker and McGinnis last year. And there's a number of things. We've been told that all physical material, so that's stones to block the daylit spaces, that's bike corrals, that's, all this stuff, was supposed to be installed by the end of 2024. And at a very, very, very slow pace, they've been doing it over the course of all of 2025.
Mhm.
And there's two locations specifically. One at where McGinnis forks with Graham, and the other where
I'm
Bayer.
sorry, say that again.
So in the south, both of them in the southbound lane. One is where the Graham fork. So it's like as McGinnis is running
Sure.
south,
Mhm.
you've got Studzinski Square in the
Yep.
middle, and you've got Graham where it comes off. That location, which I can talk about more in a second, as well as Bayard and between Bayard and Meeker on McGinnis, there's a bulb out that's next to the garden. The bike lane continues to go down towards the sidewalk, and there's a sidewalk bulb out
Bear doesn't touch Meeker.
between Bayard and Meeker on McGinnis.
Oh,
Boulevard.
okay, gotcha.
So
I'm sorry.
it's Bayard, and then this the bike lane continues through the space. There's a little concrete island. I have pictures, but
No, I know.
get the
Yeah, no.
but there's a bulb out next to the garden that Lentil Garden keeps on saying, we need something here. They've seen trucks roll right through this pedestrianized space, and we've been begging DOT for stones for these locations, or more protection for these locations, Jersey barriers, whatever.
Before you get ahead, what was the issue with Graham Fork?
So at Graham Fork, what happens is that there's, I can pull up a picture, but before Graham comes off from McGinnis Boulevard,
Mhm.
right? The basically the bike lane comes through the space. There's no crosswalk. I can show this on a picture much
You're right.
easier.
Yeah.
But there's no if you're walking south on McGinnis Boulevard towards Meeker,
Mhm.
you have to walk to the corner of Driggs, turn left, walk past Studzinski Square to continue walking down McGinnis Boulevard. The bikes though were guided through the space. So basically what happens is, and also ahead of that space, closer to Nassau, there are 4 hatched areas, painted hatched areas, with very little to actually stop cars from pulling in. So whereas cars are supposed to kind of go around slowly, they're going in the interior and running right over the bike lane and this kind of painted hatched area. Again, there's a picture that I can show that would make it crystal clear.
So basically,
yeah, I
the
can
nut of it is no crosswalk
I can show
or
you. Here.
yield control, let's say.
This is, sorry.
at the
This is
Graham Fork.
this is going to be 100% easier.
You're talking about on the McGinnis side of that spot at Graham, right?
This picture's not good.
Because I do think, Kevin, I was over there the other day, and on the inside, between the square and the bike lane,
I'm showing
there's
you.
a fire hydrant there. So I think it's a emergency vehicle lane.
But it's not. But there are stones.
What I'm saying is, I think because where the fire hydrant is, because it's
So
on
no
the sidewalk,
here.
right next to that.
But also,
empty space.
there should also
Because
be a
there's
sign
a
in
sign.
the car to say,
It would
watch for
I
bike.
think it's
Because
that
that
way
bike
so
lane
the fire
is-
hydrant
comes
can park
through.
there.
So if
Sorry.
you're coming from here, it's a blind
Yeah.
spot because there's
Here.
a
Can you go to
car
south?
Here, Aaron.
I think there's
How does it
a-
go?
So as you are approaching, so here's Graham, and here's McGinnis,
Sure.
and there's the
Oh,
bike
yeah,
lane that
the
runs
hatch.
through.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they have these hatches,
Right.
and what's happening is the cars are pulling on the interior. This is a double white line, so this should be painted with the paint, the pedestrian paint, just like
Or
that area across should be. So because you want to guide cars through, say this gray car, you want to guide them through that space slowly. Instead, everyone is pulling through. They put this, but this is not doing anything at all. Everyone's pulling through here, and we've continued to highlight it to them, and it's just it's just
This should be easy. It's just paint.
it's just paint and stones. I have a video, look at above. Here we go. So this is a video of it. The crossroads. But like, look at that.
Try to organize ourselves.
Everyone is
I've seen-
coming.
I've
what-
seen
one
people do
car.
that.
So they're supposed to come like that and slowly come to the space. What happens is they're speeding up to the middle. The bike lane is super dangerous, and there's no pedestrian connection.
Sure.
So we're like, listen, you could just do.
Put some buttons.
It could look like this.
3 sides again.
You could put stones and pedestrian paint in the interior hatches.
Program it.
You could put
This is just
quick curbs or
yeah,
delineators in
yeah,
the outside.
in my drive.
Or just download it.
So the
What's this cut out for? The driveway?
yeah, there's a driveway
That's a
there.
driveway.
There's a lot of driveways
Yeah, I know,
along
it's
grades.
McGinnis,
There's a
yeah.
driveway there. There's a driveway there. So, but you know, this doesn't.
Got it.
Like, there's no reason you can't put a stone there, which would stop the entire problem. And it's double white line painted, so it's supposed to be. This leads you to believe that these are pedestrian spaces where you can be waiting to cross the street. Driggs is. I think if someone were, if there's a place that I could say in the south of Collier that is most likely to be. The place where someone is hit and injured,
Yeah, no,
it's going to be Driggs and Graham. It's
Yeah,
going to be the
that-
Graham Fork.
That thing where they turn.
It's not a slip, I guess.
Could
I
it be
love the Graham
closed?
Fork.
Yeah, because that was my thing. I
We're
would
not
every
getting
time
rid of
I
the Graham Fork.
There is a driveway. There is a driveway on that stretch of Graham,
Like mid
right? But it's mid-block. I don't think there's any reason. I mean, I think that first and foremost, we should get stones and
Yeah, yeah.
planters in those spaces to guide the cars correctly and slow everything down. That's the most
I
important.
almost had somebody rear end me because I know how dangerous that is. So I was like going very
You're
slowly.
approaching slowly, and vehicles are
And
speeding
you're
up
in the
like
right
it's
place.
Driggs.
Speed, yeah, and the right place, and the person behind me just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Very
is
dangerous.
that is possible what you're talking about, Aaron. I mean, you know, Banker's Anchor has a driveway in and out. It's one car, right, that has to access the area in and out. But and I think it would do a great deal for safety. But I think that like that's not
most
something.
immediate needs.
That's
to
not
be-
something we've been asking DOT for since
Sorry.
is to address these two singular spaces and for more stones for daylit areas along.
Oh,
the
these are
way.
the two?
Those are the two. They
I
are.
thought you said a third. There were three.
When they did their presentation.
No,
I'm sure you
Yeah,
can
but
think
Those
of
ones
one.
you pay for, but I think so. The other thing is would be stones for the other daylit spaces. There's
What do they
different.
What do they say? Like when you to ask them.
We're
what,
looking to redesign. We'll be in touch about it. And
So I have a request
Terrible.
into Keith for, at Bronwyn's request and others' request.
for a
To,
report on what's going on.
yeah, I mean, they were supposed to come back to us whenever ago.
The paint was
So-
done in March.
Keith is out of town, so,
Yeah, well,
and
anyway,
I don't,
we could talk.
I don't
about
know
it.
Maria well enough to like,
Demand it.
Is Maria the new person?
she's
The
not
new
Rhonda.
community
What can you
liaison?
say?
But I think
There's
those,
only one Rhonda.
those three things. Those three things would be the things.
She
Okay.
came to our block party. It's nice.
So I guess that's old business, I guess. We'll put it with old, because anything McGinnis is kind of old biz. But that's fine. How are we doing?
We
Oh,
are
we're
ready to go. We have our presentation
Yeah.
All right,
on
let's do it.
a screen. Sorry, we're right behind you.
Yeah, let me jump over in this
Um,
corner. Brent, I'm gonna move you to the
Yeah, yeah, let me
right
know where
a
she
little
go.
bit. All right.
So we were wanted to bring you all together tonight to talk about Greenpoint Avenue. We're all familiar with it. We've talked about it at many a committee meeting. And Brent and I recently did a community visioning session with some folks in Western Queens. We brought some people from North Brooklyn and Western Queens together to talk about the different connections in the neighborhood. And Greenpoint Avenue was a big one for something that people feel is unsafe to use and they would like to see better to help connect Long Island City, Western Queens, and North Brooklyn. So, to start off, Greenpoint Avenue runs all the way from Long Island City to the waterfront here in Greenpoint. And why do we want to talk about this? First and foremost is safety. Greenpoint Avenue is one of the most dangerous corridors in Community District 1 in terms of crashes and injuries. We also see it, like I said, as a missing link between the bike network. There is some bike infrastructure, but it's not safe. People don't want to use it. And also, it's a substandard experience for transit riders. There are bus routes that run along Greenpoint Avenue, and it's difficult to get to the bus stops, and it is an unpleasant experience to wait at them. And then finally, we have a lot of new green spaces popping up along Greenpoint Avenue. We have Transmitter Park. We've got Newtown Creek Nature Walk that is fully opened now. Soon we'll have the North Henry Street Park and the Gateway to Greenpoint. And so we see this as a way to help better connect those and perhaps one day have a whole green corridor along Greenpoint Avenue. But like I said, the most important thing that we see as an issue is safety. In the past 10 years, there have been 856 crashes on Greenpoint Avenue with 256 injuries and 1 death. That death was a moped rider that was hit by a turning truck at the corner of Kingsland, right at the base of the bridge, 2 years ago. There have also been 74 cyclists injured, 32 pedestrians, and 170 motorists. And that is in the last 10 years. These are just some news articles about the crashes that have happened in recent years. And there have actually
Could you
been...
go back?
Yes.
I wanted to read that. Was it every 2 weeks?
Every
or something?
4 days.
Every
was
4
a
days
crash.
there's a crash, and every
An
2
injury
weeks there's an injury.
Okay, that's what I wanted to read. So.
Yeah, so there was a redesign done in 2015. That redesign added a travel lane to Greenpoint Avenue and actually significantly increased the number of crashes and injuries on Greenpoint Avenue. So pre-redesign, there were 165 crashes and 32 injuries. Post-redesign, once they added that travel lane, 254 crashes and 55 injuries. So,
Travel lane is westbound?
it
Yeah, I
is,
want the new one.
yeah,
Right.
it's the like travel
Yeah.
turn lane. So they eliminated parking. In some places, they eliminated the bike lane. Once you get past Provost, there used to be a bike lane there. It's no longer there. In order to add an extra travel lane.
But that travel lane only goes to McGinnis, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And we already have this in our district needs statement. If you haven't read the district needs statement, it says existing conditions on Greenpoint Avenue create a high level of conflict between all road users with heavy commercial and industrial activity, and its use as a critical bike route between Brooklyn and Queens. The existing bike lane is substandard and unprotected. So, like I said, I think we can all agree the road as it is not working. And so, in 2010, DOT actually proposed a road diet for the bridge itself. And that was going to eliminate 2 travel lanes. So it would go 1 lane in each direction and then give a little bit more space for the cyclists. They decided not to do that road diet in the end, and instead they went with 3 travel lanes and the bike lanes that you see today over the bridge, which again are substandard. They used to have plastic delineators. DOT has stopped replacing those because it was too expensive because they get run over so often. So the sidewalks here, totally inadequate. Bike lane is inadequate. Really unsafe.
Yeah, you can already see the concrete like in the bike lane here.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever walked or biked over this bridge.
Well, that's the storage facility, right?
Over here, yeah.
Yeah, that's where we go all the time, and it's always a close call.
Yeah.
Always a close call.
There's
Also-
people always speeding right through that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's mentioned later, but also when you are coming off the bridge, the pavement is terrible, right? Like, and I know
At
that's
Kingsland.
Yeah.
at Kingsland, but
Yeah.
also in the other direction
Also
on
in-
review.
Yeah, review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, review
And
is
obviously
involved.
it's, there's heavy truck traffic, all of the rest, it's understandable, but it is on a cycle, you're worried about, hitting a pothole and.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, both sides of the bridge, like, the bridge is terrible. But once you get off the bridge, it's so chaotic, no matter what mode of transit you're using. I think it's maybe least confusing for drivers because at least you have a light that tells you when to go. But both on the Queens side and on the Brooklyn side, it really doesn't feel like pedestrians or cyclists are even meant to cross the street.
I mean, it's bad on the Kings Lane intersection, but it's really bad at review. But
Right, because there's
Yeah.
so many different
so
lanes
much
of
going on
traffic.
there.
And that is something that the Western Queens folks we were working with, they are working on a similar ask for their own communities with like connecting Sunnyside better and Long Island City and Woodside. But since we don't represent Queens,
Sure.
we're sort of focusing on the Brooklyn side. But the goal is to have both ends of the bridge be a useful bike connection.
You also have the Van Dam situation. It's like,
It's all bad.
Oh yeah, that side is really rough.
Yeah, so this is what, from Kingsland to Humboldt. Did you put the intersection back in?
Oh, I put some of the intersections.
Okay, I think that's after this. So this is what the current layout is, where you have, this was what it was prior to the redesign. So it was 1 lane in each way, parking on both sides and a 5-foot bike lane. They eliminated parking at the edge of the bridge on both sides to add this extra travel lane. And you do have 6-foot bike lanes, but they're really unprotected and they're often parked in. They're used for loading and unloading. So they're not really safe to use and they're not very well maintained. Oh, looks like it's not in here anymore. We had a picture of the intersection of Kingsland, which is also
We can
like
jump
you
around
said.
back to things if we need to.
And then again, this is just what the top is, what the intersection used to look like, and then what DOT changed it to. So again, you add that travel lane at the expense of parking.
that's
And
2015, right?
this is what the redesign they did in
Yeah.
2015.
In the current conditions.
Right.
So what it says on here is proposed is what exists
Yeah.
now. And yeah, so it continues like that. This is where the bike lane disappeared. So it used to go both ways and now there's no bike lane westbound on this stretch. You just sort of get spit out after Provost and left to figure it out for yourself.
It reappears though.
It reappears as
after-
Sharrows
Yeah, I think.
at some point.
after-
I think at
Yeah,
Efford or
It's
Collard.
marked as Sharrows here.
No,
Like if you go
after
out to the street
Manhattan.
nowadays.
after McGinnis.
After
Manhattan,
Yeah, after
I thought.
McGinnis. Yeah.
No, it's,
It
I,
goes up McGinnis is a bike lane?
I think from
We'll get
McGinnis.
to it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think from McGinnis too.
Somewhere in here, Sharrows do reappear. You might be right. It might be McGinnis because I'm thinking of seeing them as you get up to the McDonald's, which is at Manhattan.
There are Sharrows between
Yeah.
McGinnis and Manhattan.
Yeah, but here there's nothing.
No.
It's just like
And I
anyway.
use that distributor
Yeah,
often. I mean, I'm a group having it all the time. That is a very chaotic situation.
Yeah.
And then but you also have the firehouse
I was
too,
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which also creates a condition.
Especially with that dumpster.
Yeah.
the one that's
The-
yeah where the daylighting and bike lane should be.
yeah.
So yeah, we lost the bike lanes here.
Yeah.
We added another lane of travel. As Eric mentioned, there's a lot of chaotic conditions happening on the north side of the street, which are not conducive to riding your bike down Greenpoint Avenue. Or really
It's
walking,
bad for
honestly.
motorists.
Yeah, it really, I mean, that's the theme of the street is it's really bad for everyone. It's poorly organized. It's not really working.
Yeah, I think it's like at the intersection with like Kingsland or like where after Provost where the bike lane disappears. Just everyone's supposed to just like thrown into a mixer and figure it out.
No,
Which I think is like why
about a
you've
month
seen an
ago,
increase in
I was with my
crashes.
wife, we were going to Costco's, and she could see from the back, this car was just speeding. She had to speed up, or else she felt she was gonna get rear-ended by this car.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, you know.
I mean, people feel like it's when there's not a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
People feel like they can go really
Yeah.
fast, and they do, or they get frustrated and bolt through
There's a lot of
intersections.
speeding between Provost and Humboldt especially.
Yes.
And like much of the IBC, it's just really
I see it more
poorly
westbound.
maintained
I
roads.
notice it more westbound.
But the
I guess
problem
it's because they
eastbound,
have the 2 lanes, right?
problem
So-
eastbound is you have all of the one-way streets that are heading north, and
You can
everyone's
only
trying
take,
to
like, Humboldt down?
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only take Humboldt and
Monitor.
Monitor,
Right.
and Monitor doesn't hit No, I forget. There's a
Monitor
block
goes
there.
all the way through.
Monitor
Yeah.
goes through.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember
And
which
North-
one.
No, North Henry turns.
Oh, no, right, because we changed that.
Yeah, North Henry does a block reversal.
But it's hard because then you have turning cars not paying attention because the bike lane is not painted, and then
And rushing to get into the traffic.
Yeah, it's
because
just, yeah,
depending
exactly,
on
yeah,
what
it's
time
all a
of
mess,
day-
and that gas station messes everything up,
Yes.
cause they have the like,
Yes.
basically a whole curb cut out,
Yeah.
or maybe they don't, but people use the whole
The
No, I think- no, I
thing
think-
as a curb
No, I
cut
think the
out.
whole thing is a curb cut.
And they
When-
cater to a
when
lot
Because
the
of
they
bridge is
cater
up
to a lot of
too, and
trucks.
all the cars back up.
They get a lot of
Yeah.
trucks in there
Yeah.
for diesel,
Yeah,
and
no, I
so
live right
it has
there, it's
to
like-
kind of be a lot of curb cut for them to like
Yeah.
navigate the.
Yeah, that's
Which is
usually,
fine, but like with repaving and proper marking, it
Oh,
makes
sure.
it, you know.
I don't know, I mean,
I'm s-
it has to go somewhere, but it's also like if you're on a bike, even if there was a painted bike lane there, like I've definitely felt like I was gonna get run over by a truck pulling into the gas station before.
Yeah.
Scary feeling.
It's very scary.
We're kind of like having a discussion. I'd
Anyway,
like
I mean,
to-
that was kind of the end of
Which is
safety.
fine, I think this is very useful, but I.
This is the kind of thing we were hoping to hear from people. And I will say, I do think we get to it later, but the other thing we talked about was along this stretch, there's also very few crosswalks or marked crosswalks. There are some curb cuts indicating that there's a crosswalk there, but it's not marked. It doesn't feel safe for pedestrians again, even if they're walking down the street, if they're trying to get to the bus.
Yeah, I would add like none of the intersections are daylit, and so you do get like very tight
Yeah.
turns, like let's say Eckford or something like that, and just like cars have to go all the way into the crosswalk before they see anything going on in the street.
And another thing is with the nature walk,
Mm-hmm.
you would walk out Kingsland to get, you know, back to wherever you're going. So to your point, like there's a lot of, you know, mixed use here that everybody is impacted by.
And there is like that little piece of bike lane as well at Kingsland to get you to the nature walk, but it doesn't continue on the other side, so nobody's expecting
Speaking of
a
connections,
cyclist. Yeah, so that brings us to our next
to
point,
connections.
Oh.
which is
So,
let's
like,
talk
wow.
about
Here's the map.
connections.
So yeah, you do have the Kingsland protected bike lane, and then it just suddenly ends, and so that's not a network. It just is this, you know, underused thing because who feels safe going all the way over there?
Why does it end?
That's a great question. You know, DOT made a plan to put bike lanes on
Sorry.
Kingsland and Monitor. And I live on Kingsland, so I do actually use that little bit of bike lane a lot. And I would love to have a bike lane on Monitor to get back to the other side of the neighborhood.
Brent, can I ask you to
Stand over
Stand
there.
over this way.
Okay, sorry.
I know it's not as, we need a laser pointer.
So yeah, I think it's like as a connection, you see how like with Transmitter Park and the Greenway along west, also the McGinnis Boulevard bike lanes, like, you know, Greenpoint really does operate to connect all these spaces, especially with like Gateway to Greenpoint coming in, the Newtown Creek Nature Walk. You have then like on the Queen side, they just put in the first part of the Blissful Greenway, which is going to extend from Long Island City all the way through to like Ridgewood. And so the first part of that's done south of Greenpoint, but it's like they already are planning to do it north. And I mean, even further afield, just there is an active petition by folks in Queens to put a protected bike lane on Greenpoint Avenue, talking about connections to, like, let's say Queens, you know, by the end of this, you're at Queens Boulevard, which is the massive bike lane project that DOT did over there. And so it really becomes linking all these places. And let's say if you travel on a, you know, like if you're traveling from, let's say, Sunnyside to a job in Greenpoint, it's, I don't know, half an hour from the 7 to the G, or it's a 15-minute bike ride. So I think it is like something that people would use if any of this was safe, but it's not. Yeah, and then we're just walking through it. And then, yeah, I think continuing on open space, talking about connections and talking about this, like the connection to these parks that is like a massive investment in like a gateway to Greenpoint. Well, how are people going to use that space if they don't feel comfortable, safe getting to it? And I think it would do a lot better, like, you know, bring people to actually enjoy the nature walk, North Henry Street Park, and all of that. Here's our parks again. Yeah, Kingsland Wildflowers rooftop as well.
We did speak to NCA about this, and they were very much supportive of the idea of both sides of the bridge having safe connections, especially now that Willis lives on the other side of the creek. I think he would like a safe route to work.
You know, yeah, speaking of commuters.
Yeah.
And then as Meryl talked before, we did a workshop just
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago with folks in Western Queens talking about connections between the boroughs. Like, okay, like if you just go over the other side of the Pulaski, it's also a mess. And so, but Greenpoint Avenue Bridge came up a ton as like, you know, at least you do have a protected bike. You do have like a properly protected bike lane on the Pulaski. You do have it on the Kosciuszko. But Greenpoint Avenue, it's just kind of a mess that there's half-done measures, but nobody feels comfortable doing it. And that was like a lot of the feedback, that it's just confusing, dangerous, unsafe, just for all users. Like it's all like a 5-6 way intersection at both ends of the bridge. We were just talking about that. And you know, the sidewalk, I've walked across that with my mom one time because she a lot of my family got married at like St. Raphael Church just down close to the Long Island Expressway there. So it's like, oh, how do we get there? The bus is not for another 30 minutes. I guess we'll walk. Miserable. I really do apologize to my mom for that one. And then I mean, because the bike lanes are not protected, they're constantly parked in, used for loading or just standard parking.
And on the bridge itself, there's often like random pieces of
Where are you
industrial
seeing,
garbage.
Where are you seeing the most parking in the bike lanes? Like what stretch? Or
I
is it-
feel like
or just
from
endemic across the,
before you get to Provost, like I feel like where I encounter
on the
cars,
industrial side?
yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
sure, okay.
I mean, also in front of Big Blue sometimes, but
Okay.
more so. I mean, I guess there's no bike lane there; they're just
Right.
double parked in the street. But mostly on the industrial part.
So I think we just wanted to talk about all the current conditions. How did we get to where we are now? And that there is a need to change anything about this and chat. We were not here to propose any explicit solution. So thanks. Had a lot of like hidden slides of like intersections and things like that. We can like certainly go through if we wanted to discuss more.
If they come up in the discussion.
Yeah.
I think this is a PDF. Mostly
Good job.
You can pull up Canva.
All right, so we've kind of had a discussion. We'll do like formal questions, I guess, or we can just leave it. Anybody?
I thought it's very thorough, so I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. God, too easy. I think this is great because there are definitely issues with Greenpoint Avenue on both sides. I know the industrial side better.
Yeah, same.
But I also see all the sins that happen there, and I'm glad that Western Queens is doing something to fix the review chaos.
I will also say
It's a really big challenge too, because you have Silver Cup there. Although this came up when you showed the connections, so the fact that I didn't realize that they had finished the bike lanes on review says a lot, because I'm cranky.
yeah.
I was really concerned that it would make review, because I'm on review all the time, and I have to say it works.
I mean, that's the thing.
I
Like,
don't see a lot of and the backups that I see on review, if I'm heading, because I'll often take north on review to the Greenpoint Avenue Bridge. It's always because the bridge is up, or there's some hassle on Van Dam or whatever. It's almost never, because what I was afraid was going to happen was that all the trucks that need to back into the bays were going to really hang up, and like that loss of that extra space was going to really mess them up. And I have to say, I don't see that at all. So that was actually, I don't see a lot of people cycling on it either, but you know.
I mean, where are they gonna go? Not to Greenpoint Avenue.
Huh?
They're not gonna be able to get to Greenpoint Avenue, so where are they going? I mean, they could.
Well, you know, there's the skate park.
Fair.
But I'm just saying for now. I mean, it's new too.
Right, yeah.
So that's just a neutral comment. Anyway.
Oh, I was gonna say also with the CSO project that they presented last week. When was that? When our meeting was? They're going to end up having to rip up a lot of the street. So there is an opportunity to start talking about what a new street looks like now, so that by the time capital planning comes around and the street is already torn up, DOT could potentially be like, here's what a better street design looks like.
Is that Provost? The
Provost
red
is
one?
the red one.
Yeah, so that one, so I always make a turn there. There's a two-way parking, right?
Mhm.
And then when
That's
you
true,
have
sure,
all the commercial coming in, they're driving right in the middle of the block.
Right, and it has a dotted yellow line, so
Yeah.
like you're supposed to go around people. If you look at the crash data, even though that's where the bike lane was for a long time before McGinnis went in, that is one of the most dangerous
Yeah.
stretches of roadway because again, it's because
Because-
it's high truck traffic, fast moving truck traffic. It's not wide enough for all of the road users they want to use it, and it's doing that same thing where it's like y'all figure it out.
Because also that turn, because it crosses off, the bikers usually pausing because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or they don't know where to go. Even the cars are confused. So even with
Everyone
me,
is
there is an issue. So Provost, there should be really one parking lane, not two, which
Yeah.
will probably give you more room for a bike lane or something.
Yeah, I think it technically has the narrowest travel lanes in the neighborhood.
It does.
And
Just
none
trying
of,
to
none of
make it
that is
two-way.
residential parking either, it's all,
Commercial parking
uh,
or
no, it's people that work.
oh, you're
In-
saying the
in the
people
area.
who are parking there.
Because I'll
Yeah.
another street that I'm on all the time. I'll notice if I'm there after, I don't know, 5 or 6 for whatever reason. There's a lot of open spots and it's a lot more negotiable.
Yeah.
Which
Pretty
leads
well.
me to believe that if it's people, because that's all, that whole thing between Provost and McGinnis, it's all manufacturing. or
Right.
whatever. There's
Yeah.
no I think there's one street with some residential on it, but it's
Maybe
like,
towards the top.
I think it's like, you know,
In the
waffle
middle,
wall type
near
stuff.
the gas station, there's some housing.
Behind it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know someone who lives there.
Yeah, there's,
Some
yeah,
loft- there's some
yeah, I
loft
mean, it's
tenants.
not, but I mean, like, the majority is IBZ, so.
Yeah.
It's a really wide sidewalk against the
On
treatment
Provost,
plant.
on the
Provost,
treatment
y-
side,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
it's like,
Mhm.
and it's maybe a jogger that if that you'll see.
I mean, it's a pretty miserable experience.
That's where I did a lot of my training.
You were the jogger.
Yeah, I was the jogger.
It was meant to be, as I understand it from Willis, that stretch of Provost between Page and Greenpoint Avenue, as well as that bit of Greenpoint Avenue between, like, basically where Provost connects to Greenpoint, right? Like that kind of like the space in the L, like the bottom right, left-hand corner of the L. That was all supposed to be,
Yeah, where,
public.
Kevin?
So Brett, just move the cursor a little bit, move the cursor down.
Said Page, right, which is.
Yeah, right, so,
Oh, you mean like the
you know where the gazebo is? And they have like, that was supposed to be public. Originally it was
Oh,
supposed to be
yeah,
public.
yeah, yeah.
That's
And it was,
where up there,
no, so
or rectangle.
the entire, so
Triangle.
the original conversation around the nature walk was that stretch of Provost from Page all the way down to Greenpoint Avenue, the red line, was meant to kind of connect to the nature walk.
Got it.
Right, they have the big glacial stone at the corner of
Yep,
Page that
yep.
was dug up when they did McGinnis, the medians, and they had it basically, you know, the big pools, the 3 pools, the bottom pool, right below that kind of like sliver, that little triangular sliver,
Yeah.
that was all supposed to be public land along with Gateway to Greenpoint and the nature walk. And it was kind of meant to connect to this kind of green pathway with the gardens, the bioswales, the rain gardens, running all the way up Provost to kind of connect all the way around Gateway to Greenpoint, all this kind of around the perimeter of the wastewater treatment plant.
What year was that?
96 was when they started.
So pre-eggs.
Yeah, it was before they
Well, it was-
closed. So it was around the whole conversation around closing North Henry and expanding the treatment plant. And this was like NCMEC, the Newtown Creek Monitoring Committee, had gotten all these guarantees from the treatment plant
Yeah.
for these improvements. And the improvements were the nature walk, Gateway to Greenpoint, the kind of like walking garden or trees along Provost, and this, like, the largest section of it was supposed to be community offices and space, as well as public green space, between Provost and the visitor center. And then the visitor center was supposed to be open all the time. The visitor center shut down during COVID, never reopened. They used those offices and green spaces basically for their own use. Gateway to Greenpoint is going to have their groundbreaking tomorrow. And the rest of it looks the way that it does. But that's just some of the context there.
Did I hear an No? All right, well, so you're working with, what is that, Queens 4? What is that? Community
Queens
board?
2.
Queens
Queens
two.
2, right? Where are you guys going next with this? Have you presented with Queens 2 this plan with members of Queens 2? Do you plan to?
We hadn't talked about it, but we probably should.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
like
and
Brent said,
have-
there's
is there-
actually a
oh, sorry.
petition for the Queen side.
Mhm.
Um,
And is there anybody at DOT that you, it's a little, without Rhonda now, it's like hard to, anybody in the bike unit that you've been in touch with, or?
I haven't talked to anyone about it I did actually briefly talk to somebody about it from the public realm unit yesterday in the context of they are starting this large capital project with DEP, and I was at a session about like agencies working together.
Mhm.
And so somebody from the public realm unit did say, reach out to whoever your Rhonda is and like to Keith Bray and say, this is happening, how can we get these two timelines to line up? And like they will start that process, but you have to ask.
Not tonight, because this is just all fresh, but
Yeah.
maybe, so our next meeting is until December 3rd, because of Thanksgiving, because usually it's the last Thursday.
It's not, yeah.
So for December 3rd, I won't make it a, maybe I will, I don't know, we'll see. We might have a pretty full agenda, but for old business, any legwork y'all do between now and then, let's see, and then we'll see what happens in the new year, if we can, if it makes sense to have DOT chime in, like officially or whatever. We'll just keep an eye on it.
Do
Yeah,
we?
that's a good one.
Do we? In terms of like the stuff that DOT has studied and maybe presented and it hasn't gone anywhere. So it's like the Kingsland Monitor, bike lanes on the bridge,
I mean, there are bike lanes on the bridge. That was
protected.
They're just not.
kind of I think,
They lost
Another-
their protection.
compromise,
Uh-huh.
but originally there was supposed to be only one travel lane in each direction. And then, Kevin, am I right about this? It got more protected at the bottom towards Kingsland? Or that just, right now, it like,
2010, this was proposed in 2010, and it was totally killed. There was nothing done. And then they came back 5 years later because there was all the conversation happening about the Pulaski Bridge and the number of cyclists that were using the joint
pedestrian
pedestrian
path.
lane over the
Bike lane.
before the bike lane was built. But basically, what was said was like, hey, this was, I guess, as the Pulaski, as far as I understand it, as the Pulaski Lane conversation was moving forward, they were also like, hey, there are so many cyclists that are using this space. Let's revisit Greenpoint Avenue. And at that time, there was also a lot of conversations about them to continue the corridor because they were trying to get their mileage because the streets master plan had just gone through the de Blasio administration, or whatever, the end of the Bloomberg administration.
2015.
But the other part of this I think that's important to note is that after Oscar de la Rosa was killed, which was December of 23, December 7th of 23, Lincoln had pushed, as far as I understand it, Lincoln had pushed hard on DOT to say, we need to do something about this space, right? Because they had stepped off of the Kingsland Monitor bike lanes further to the south, and then there was a death a year later at that exact intersection. And he's like, we need to do something. And Keith was amenable. Brooklyn DOT was amenable towards doing something. But when they spoke to their counterparts on the Queens side, and this predates the review bike lane, right? Queens DOT was basically like, we're not touching Blissville. Like, we're not doing that. This was what Lincoln had said, as far as I understand it. I do think that now that they fought really hard. They fought a lawsuit to get the review bike lanes put in. And it's something that like the Blissville Civic is super supportive of. Along that whole route, just along the outer wall of Calvary Cemetery, they did a whole tree planting thing with NCA. Willis, who would be here tonight, but he's a little sick and the baby's a little sick. But he would have been here speaking about how important this is on specifically the core of it on either side of the bridge and the intersections in the bridge itself. But that's where DOT left it. That's where it was left with DOT, which was basically like Brooklyn was amenable, Queens was not, and, you know.
Which
and
would have been early last year, right? Early
2023.
No, it would have been early 24.
Early
So
24,
the 7th of December 2023 was when
Right.
Oscar De La Rosa was killed, and then so Lincoln had pushed it in January, mid-January of 24. But I think also, like a lot of things, they were like, want to see how McGinnis is doing, want to see how whatever. But
Sure.
at the time, again, as the limited conversations, because it basically stopped there, was that it was Brooklyn DOT is game, Queens DOT is not. But now Queens DOT has gone to the mat for review hard. They finished it, they're continuing it. And, you know, that's where it's at.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll keep on it. We'll just check in.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good job. And that is our one and only agenda item. We've covered some new business. We've covered a little old business. We're a little all over the road today. Does anybody have any more old business? Committee. Public. No? Just observing. Are you Caitlin's dad, by the way?
No, I'm not. I'm Caitlin's neighbor. I live
Neighbor.
along-
Okay, right. Okay.
She's at a funeral. She had to go.
Yeah,
to two
because I know
funerals.
she was confused about the calendar. I just wanted to,
Yeah.
but we sorted it out. But I just, old business, Kevin.
I guess just looping, because I didn't want to cut too deep into the time, but I guess specifically with those asks for McGinnis, and like we have specific intersections, specific corners where they have daylit space. The third thing, as you say, Eric, right? The two things are Graham Fork and Bayard in front of the Lentil Garden. The other spaces, or the other general kind of like collection of spaces that we were again anticipating would be done by the end of 2024, you know, have been in a trickle over the course of 2025, is the daylit. There's different daylit spots. So there's like one on Broome on the western side of the street. There's one on Broome on the eastern side of the street. There's one at Driggs. There's two at Meserole. There's two at Collier Houses Jones. But there's a bunch of these spaces along McGinnis that are daylit spaces that cars are parking in. A number of them have gotten stones. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. They're not communicating to electeds when they're installing these stones.
What was you said? Broome, Miss.
I can tell you that. I can tell you all the locations, but basically it's just, you know, I think.
But the general issue is parking in the daylighting.
But and getting these physical elements into these
Right.
spaces that, again, Department of Transportation has said they were going to do back, you know, whatever. There's, for instance, even bike corrals. There's less bike corrals right now on McGinnis Boulevard than there were in 2023, because they removed all the curbside bike corrals when they did the road diet, and they didn't put anything back, or they've been putting them back so slowly. I'm happy to forward a list, the exact list, to the committee if that's helpful.
Yeah.
But it would be helpful, I feel, for, you know, if y'all would be willing to write a letter. You know, the electeds have been pushing on the asks. We've been pushing on the asks. You know, I think we want to see this plan in its current iteration as complete as possible, so it can be assessed on those merits. It is still not complete, and they've created two situations at Driggs and Graham where I really truly think every time I go that way on you know, Driggs and Graham or at Graham, I'm like, the next time there is an injury on McGinnis Boulevard, it is going to be here. Like, it's because you have record numbers every month this year, with the exception of February, which had 799 fewer cyclists, but every month has broken the record.
How many?
799 fewer
Okay.
cyclists.
So it's that extra day.
How many
In the-
how
one
many
day.
cyclists have they had this month?
How many more than October of last year?
Or just over?
Yes. Right now it's about the same. It's so last
Yeah,
right
full
last
data.
year was
About the same.
last year was 118,000 in 2024, and I haven't checked for the last couple days. But it was right on top of it. It was like 116 a couple days ago.
Okay,
Everybody ride your bike
I'm open to the idea of writing a letter. However, I do have a request in to Keith to come through and give us like a full blow by blow. So I get your thing, but
And
I
they'll
would
come in December, and then 10 days later say the painting season, the installation season is ended,
Yeah.
we can't do anything. You know,
but they can drop rocks. So, but let's get the answer from Keith, and then push from there. Because if we're just doing piecemeal, this has been issues in the projects all the time. McGinnis is a perfect example of it too. If we're doing piecemeal, we're diluting the estate or whatever, and then we can challenge them on.
But that, I will say the paint at the Grand Fork, there are the 4 hatched sections as well as the large bulb out next to Father Studzinski Square that do need paint. That they should have the same epoxy gravel paint as all the other pedestrian bulb out spaces that are along the area. So it's like the rocks are critical, but again, and I think my concern here is that it's like Dave said, well, painting season is coming to a close, which is absurd because a year ago today, they had not put a single drop of paint on McGinnis Boulevard, and basically all 90% of it, 90% of it was done by the 18th of December. So it's like they have the ability to do it.
I think they're wiggling with painting season. I think that it's something that they use when they need it, but it's based on temperature, right? So if they have a week of over 50 degrees,
but there's limited the crews that they have they contract out. Like last year,
I'm agreeing with you, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
But like last year, like the Bedford, like they were like we can send folks over to Bedford or we can send them to McGinnis. Or then the next day it was like we can send them to the space in the Bronx so they can come to McGinnis. As far as I understand it.
All right, so
I
have your
list.
points. Yeah,
Would be
please.
helpful.
No,
Honestly,
please.
just-
No.
Ask a clarifying question. You're asking for the replacement of the bike racks on the street as well as
The list of physical materials and the locations for those physical materials, we have all of that.
Okay, because I would say like I don't love the idea of using bike parking as a barrier, right? Because if you're like moving your bike out, I don't know, it just creates a.
It's why it's got to be paired with stones.
It's not practical that you're safe in that space unless it's with stones. Yes.
And I think that's so. Like for instance, there are 6 like long pedestrian islands. So like at Nassau is a perfect example. They're on either side of the street, in front of Rago's and in front of Juicy Lucy, and that's one side of the street. It's a long pedestrian island, so maybe 40 feet. There's a stone on one side and a stone on the other side. There's quick curbs, so the heavy plastic bollards on the outside, and then a bike corral on the inside.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of like the maximal build out prior to capital or concrete that you could have. And it's right now it's installed in 4. That configuration is installed in 4 out of the 6 locations. So we're again saying, please finish those.
Yeah.
Please add stones to the daylit areas. You know, a lot of the like the smaller daylit spaces that are on the side blocks are like on Broome on approach, right? So there's slower blocks, they're quieter blocks.
Sure.
Obviously compared to McGinnis Boulevard. But the ask for McGinnis for those spaces is for the full kit. And right now the only thing that's missing is bike corrals in 2 of the 6.
Okay. So
I'll send you the list.
If I may?
just give me one. Yes, you're next. Okay, so I have it. Please send that list for the record. I'll include it in the report. For now, we'll wait to see what Keith says about giving us a presentation. Maybe he can do it in December. Or at least have something in December and whatever, and we'll push back from there. And then in the meantime, I'll continue my conversation with him, and I'll bring these points to his attention. So
These
okay,
are quick deploy deploy material.
I agree. However, we're dealing with the bureaucracy of DOT. Sir?
Yeah, Caitlin did send me some pictures.
Okay.
Monday of this week,
Yes. Bless you.
the fire department was in front of the school again.
Okay.
They happened to leave a stanchion in there because they had the
110,
for the
right.
kids, and I blocked the street off, so.
PS 110 we're talking
Yeah,
about.
110. And again, the teachers were parked in the no standing zone. And, you know, I've had this issue before. They parked there. I talked to policemen while they were there in their cars saying, could you please give these people tickets? And their answer to me is, well, it's at our discretion. And then they wink at the teacher and they say, we belong to the same club. I work for a New York City club. But the teachers, all of them,
No officers ever told me that.
they told them to me I work for the mayor's lawyer, okay? They told them to me. I know it's said. I know what happens in the back room.
Okay.
And there's a lot of space under the BQE that have meters that nobody uses? Why can't you just give them that space? I mean,
We have fought and lost that battle.
yeah,
So,
you know, but I've been to the police department, I've been to the assemblyman's office, and nobody seems to care. And then they tell you how much they care about the children, and the day after the fire, because I told you the last time there was a fire in the school, nobody knew it. They're parked there again. These are the people who love your children, and they're parked there.
ask Caitlin to email those photos to the board office, and since you made the comment, I'll
Yeah.
put it
I
in.
mean, I got a picture right here, if you wanna see.
No,
it.
I believe
Okay.
it. Just, but for the record,
Yeah.
just so we have it. Was there anything else?
I have a
No, I think
question.
that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Have you been to the community council meeting?
Oh, yeah, the
Bring it
Community
up.
Education Council.
Community council for the 9-4.
Oh, I think
No.
the CEC,
No.
sorry. Cause that is not bad either, right? It's
You
basically
talk to the
PTA.
captain or other representatives, it
Are they
would just be
teaching
like,
at all?
the,
The
you know,
CEC?
that's where everyone goes to complain about what needs enforcement in the neighborhood. So that would be more effective than just talking to like a random patrolman.
Yeah, cause all the XO is there.
But not when they're right there in front of the school and they see the.
Yeah, no, but
Right in front, and you're right, because I read the statute. We have the discretion of who we give the tickets.
But-
I've been
what
run over by a
Austin-
car in front of a cop and it doesn't
yeah.
seem to make a difference.
But Austin makes a good point, because if you're at the community council,
Yeah,
you'll also see your neighbors.
right.
But then you'll have the XO of the 9-4, you'll have the, what are the zone people?
Hey, whatever.
What are the zone people?
Community affair officer?
Community affairs officers. No, not community affairs officers. What, we have the zones, like we have zone C, B,
1, 2, 3, 4.
what the hell is that
ABCD.
called?
The zone officer?
No, it's,
Yeah, I didn't know they had a special name.
I just thought I'd get involved.
anyway,
Yeah,
they'll all be there.
I worked 70 hours a week for the
Yeah.
last 30 years, you know, power broker, so I had no time for this.
You work
I
for other
didn't get
buses?
time to breathe.
Yeah.
Bring all your neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
to
do that.
It's really,
And you'll probably see people you know. Like on your side.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I want everybody to be safe,
Yeah, of course.
you know,
We all do.
I have a very long time, I want everybody to be safe.
And you can always come to the, our public safety meeting, which was just Monday, I guess.
How many spots, where, the no standing, you mean going in front of, along the,
It goes all the way from the beginning of the school right to the corner.
so the boundary line of the school on the eastern side of the street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they parking? They're supposed to.
They're not
have-
Because they have their plaques. And
But
they
the
belong to the IY.
They're supposed to have-
But Lincoln had worked really hard, and I think this is where I think, I am in total agreement. Lincoln had worked really hard to secure that, cause there's teacher parking spots as well that are on the
Yeah.
Right across
opposite.
the street, right
Right.
across the street, they have the whole
Yeah.
end of the block.
You know, what they say about teacher parking now, because we've been having a conversation over by Banker's Anchor along the back end of Automotive High School,
Mhm.
because they have a huge parking lot.
Sure.
And then there's parking on the street. We've been saying, hey, we'd love to get crosswalks coming over Nassau, to Vital and into Banker's Anchor. And what we had been told was that DOT has changed their policy, where previously their policy previously was that teacher parking, if it existed, it could be moved, it could be shifted. Their new policy internally is that it's not, like, they're not replacing any new parking. They're not replacing any new teacher parking. So basically, it's either, and I guess this is kind of not exactly the question of the problem, but it's like, if you remove the teacher parking or you move the teacher, they're not going to create new teacher parking, is the new policy, right? So anything that they're not creating any more of it. So this was the conversation we were having, which is like, is there flexibility in that regard, especially around a public plaza or a park, or in this case, a school?
I mean, if they have the placard and like, go park under the BQE like they always used to, because the teachers used to park under the BQE until they made it meters. If they're getting away with parking in this no standing zone.
And that was something that Lincoln had pushed really hard to get done, because the parents were saying the space in front of the school is not safe.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And they park, and then
Well,
the parents have to double park.
Sorry, parents, but the parents don't
And
make
then
it better.
emergency vehicles can't get down. I've seen it time
Particularly
and
at
again.
132 and what's the middle school at Roebling?
34.
AMS 126.
Oy, oy, oy.
Or
Anyway.
Roebling, 577.
No,
MS-50?
yeah, North 4th and Roadland.
Yeah, 577.
577. Yeah.
Yeah, 17 and
Gosh.
577.
Anyway, okay, thank you. And again, ask Caitlin to email the board. She has the email because she talked to Joanna, and we'll put it in the record. Any more old business?
Commercial street?
Um,
I feel like every 6 months, DOT has said in 6 months, we'll be presenting the $6 million capital plan
you're
for
right.
commercial street, and now Rhonda is gone, so there's no one to verify that. But,
I'll add that to my list of asks.
yeah, because that's
Still
Zach
waiting.
Eisenstadt, and he has 2 kids now,
Mhm.
and you remember Zach.
Aren't
and,
they in college by now?
No.
It's been like forever.
But he was asking me the other day, he's like, what's going on? What's going on with that? I said, I don't know.
Okay.
But they were supposed to do a capital reconstruction, and the Liberty is not gonna be moving in at the top of the block over there.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity. I mean, there's more and more people by the day.
You said they're not?
They are.
No, they
Oh,
are.
I was like, I think
No, they are.
I heard that
Yeah.
too.
They still
Okay.
are.
All right. I'll add that to my list of what's going on. Any new business?
Did you bring up a death in the
Oh,
community
yes.
board meeting?
Yes, there was the death at
Meserole and
Meserole and Leonard.
Leonard.
Meserole
Yeah.
Street
Yeah, the cyclist.
and Leonard. So the cyclist was traveling on Meserole Street.
I think in the end they
East?
said they were traveling the same, they were both on the same street.
Was it
Yes.
was it a mid block or an
Meserole
intersection?
Street and Meserole.
Meserole
Meserole
Street.
Street.
Mid block or at an intersection?
It was the intersection.
Of course.
Was it
it's
the
always
Tesla that drove away? You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't-
Tesla.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's awful.
Do we know the name of the victim?
I do not. It was a female.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
yeah.
was
It is
reported.
She was manager of a wine bar in
In Carroll
Bordeaux.
Garden.
Okay. If I could have the name of the victim.
Was
It
Amanda
definitely exists.
Huggins, I want to say.
That sounds right.
That sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
32 years old.
Baby.
Huggins. Time and date?
September 27th, early on Saturday morning, 2:36 a.m.
I'm sorry, September 27th?
September 27th at 2:30, around 2:36 a.m. Alexandra Huggins, Huggins,
2:30 a.m.
2:36 a.m.
2:36.
Glad you got yourself.
Alexandra. Yeah.
Yeah, she was struck by
Alexandra?
Yeah.
Not Amanda.
Alexandra Huggins. Struck by a blue Tesla traveling westbound on Meserole. Pronounced it at Woodhull Hospital.
I said.
Okay.
She was unconscious on the street, but she was
Motion for a letter?
hit and run too.
Motion. Second.
No. Aaron.
You said it said headed west on
The Tesla was heading westbound.
All in favor?
She was traveling south.
Opposed?
Yes.
Abstentions? Okay. We were having a good run from the letters for a while.
We had one the month before.
No, we did, but I felt like, was it
Stretch.
June and May? I don't think we had letters, right? I mean, 2 months of no letters. It's like a
That's a
miracle. It is these days. Any other new business?
I want to give a shout out to Brent because he has been fighting since the very beginning of the very redesign for a mid-block crosswalk over Bedford Avenue between McCarran Park and the Automotive High School. And after the marathon is done, they are installing. It's in
Woo!
with its like with the paint and the all that, but it's not protected right now. So there's no stones, there's no planters, so right after the marathon, what we're calling the Bedford Bridge, because there used to be a bridge there, will be fully done, and maybe we'll do a little ribbon cutting.
Nice.
Congrats.
And what's the exact
I love that.
location?
It's Bedford Avenue between North 12th and Longmont.
You should call it Brent
Mid-block
Place.
cross.
No,
Brent-
between
Brent's
Brent and
Bridge.
Brent.
Brent's
Brent's
Bridge.
Bridge.
Brent's Bridge.
Yeah. I like it.
Anyway, and there's
We'll
also
get you a plaque.
there's another there's another part of it that's also at North 12th at the base of the block. North 12th and Bedford, like across from
In
Turkey's
the
Nest.
daylighting that's there.
There's like daylighting on either sides of the street next to the city bike, and
Okay.
but it will be fully done.
I like that.
Soon.
Wrap it
Cool.
up with good news. Yeah.
Did they give you a date?
They said after the marathon, Bedford slipped, the bulb out there is going to be getting its stones back. that area is gonna be getting its stones and planters. North 12th and North 12th and Bedford is gonna be getting stones and planters. Parks Alliance is taking care of those because it's kind of part of that breezeway through.
Marathon's next weekend.
The marathon
This
is
Sunday.
this
Sunday.
It's this Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's always around Halloween.
Oh,
They should
actually,
be in before the 15th.
11th, I have a different thing.
not Bedford Bridge related.
Not Bedford.
Okay.
Is it another good thing that Brent has done?
You can work on this, actually.
Oh.
Just to confirm, somebody with their Google map or whatever, if I
Yeah.
forgot about that. But like 10th and 11th, even going further south on Kent, where the park is, that newer
North or
park.
north or south?
Motiva, where
North.
Motiva is.
North 10th and 11th on Kent.
Near like crossing over to go into the park, it's just like cars are racing
Oh, that's
down.
been an issue for.
But there's no like crosswalk or anything.
By Martha K entrance. By
Yeah.
the big one.
Yeah.
We've been. Yes, that's been.
Well, and also there's a crosswalk at what is it,
I
North
think-
9th
yeah,
into
there's one at
Bushwick in the
9th,
park?
but there's not one
Yeah,
But
at
there's not a
11th
crosswalk there,
where that
but
new
then-
park is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not at the 50 Kent spot.
Yeah,
There's no
right,
crosswalk.
yeah,
Right.
which
But
is
there's
weird
still
because
a left
there's
turn
one.
lane onto like the streets that's now closed.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And speaking of
Because if it's going into a park,
Yeah.
then the same thing should follow at 11th or
100%.
10th or whatever it is.
It's 12th and 11th that
Yeah,
can use a
right.
crosswalk,
Yeah.
and the south side of 10th on the north end of the Bushwick Inland Park.
Just keep it consistent.
Yeah,
with whatever
and then
the rules
11th and
are.
12th both have the left turn lane still.
Yeah.
And I know
think
the
Parks-
soccer families
I'm
are
not
like
saying
have been
that
up in arms about it.
it's worth keeping a left turn lane, but the
Almost
Parks
years.
Department does still use those.
Say that again.
The Parks Department still uses those lots, even though the street's closed.
to go into
everyone else.
base.
Oh yeah.
But do you need a whole turn lane just for the Parks Department?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah, traffic volume's
But this
more
is a
into it.
hold. Speaking of holdovers of like crappy decisions made by DOT 10-ish years ago, like Teresa Toro has talked about this, like when about Kent, like what happened on Kent, and like that it
Yeah.
was originally supposed to be that entire parking lane on the East River side of the street was not supposed to exist. That entire turning lane was not supposed to exist. It was supposed to be a wider sidewalk, a wider bike lane, and the connected greenway. It was supposed to look, at least in,
Well,
well,
if you want to get into the Greenway conversation,
but I think that it's like, I think
We
that,
do.
not tonight.
no, not tonight, but I'm just saying, I think that it's something that, that area is so, and I hear it from like friends of Bushwick in the Park all the time, and Ryan, cause Mark has the building over there by Marcia P. Johnson, like, it is always so chaotic, cause it's so, I mean, that's the busiest, the Kent Bike Lane is the
Oh,
busiest
it's-
bike
yeah.
lane in the city.
Easily,
It's
easily.
the busy, I mean, that's what the counts say, the bike lane counts say, it's the busiest bike lane in the city.
I believe it, yeah.
You know, it's only busy. The only busier space is the Williamsburg Bridge bike lane, which is over the bridge. Like
And the counter there is on North 8th, between North 8th and North 9th.
Yes.
So it's like right there.
It's busy all the way down to the bridge.
so
Yeah.
I think that there is a real conversation.
Yeah, no,
Having
but
some
especially
sort of
actually,
crosswalk or something.
Well, but it's like you
Yeah.
should redesign. I mean,
Yeah,
in
the whole
paint,
thing,
you
but-
could do in paint again, like with McGinnis in paint.
Right.
You could do a bulbed out sidewalk, a wider bike lane, and if you remove that glorified left-hand turn travel lane, which is just a turn to a dead end.
Yeah.
Well,
Half of it is hatched, most of it is hatched, or turn lanes. There's some parking, but really very, very little at all.
well, all those apartment buildings have massive parking garages.
And they all have garages, and there's like parking like around those areas. You would need loading zones on the opposite side of the street.
Right.
But like, you know, Kent, you know, is functionally one lane as it is.
Yep.
With that like hangers on lane, and and that's because there was a big push on Bloomberg when it was supposed to go in to kill it. Because they didn't, because South Williamsburg didn't want to lose parking.
it's also a parking lot most of the day.
Yeah.
Kent
North,
is.
north of South Fifth, honestly,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Because I go to the Bennett.
It's like, it's brutal. Anyway,
And all the people are in all the people that are moving are in the bike lane and pedestrian paths on top of each other.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people I've seen like jogging or run. I mean, the sidewalks are so narrow.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
bike lanes are really narrow as well.
And
mean-
they've started adding the
Yeah,
concrete, which is a good thing
Yeah,
in theory,
That's out of
except
me.
Yeah.
like to have the pedestrian islands.
But it's ripped up.
But
the-
it's
asphalt.
made the bike lane so there's no longer a buffer. Like, you
Yeah,
can, it's
that's
only so wide, so you can't
Where do you go then?
get around people.
Okay, well, it's,
It's a future conversation.
yeah, we'll talk about that more.
Like, especially with Motiva opening up and like, you know, like Motiva site is all
That
this.
whole thing is like, it's new every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
so-
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and like the last redesign is 2012. How many more people
Yeah.
live on that
Oh.
street
Yeah,
in the past 13
That's a
years?
good point.
I mean, you've
You know,
seen.
and honestly, it's
Manhattan
accelerating.
revenues.
You could say that something like in
More.
10 years, it's not like
no, it's
every
exponential.
4 or 5 years.
And
boom,
frankly, like
you know?
the ferry, right, draws people
Sure.
Oh, right,
across
yeah.
Kent.
Oh wait,
also.
that's in old news. Can we ask about when North 6, they were talking about doing North 6 one way
Oh, North Sixth Place, North Sixth Street,
Oh, yeah.
wraparound? I know
Roseanne,
that's been happening.
Oh, yeah, some lady.
Needleman, Roseanne Needleman.
Yes.
She had
That's
texted me a while ago,
another
she asked me if I knew any street painting companies.
She
who
was
wanted
just
to
gonna do it herself.
restripe the street,
Well, it's,
because it's a private,
It's a
North
private-
Sixth Place is a private,
Yeah,
it's a private,
yeah.
it's a private street.
North 6th
do you
Street
remember
is,
when?
North Sixth Place is a private street.
Right,
So
right.
Do you remember
Osmo
when
Kramer.
we talked about that?
No, it's mine.
no, probably, I wanna say like before summer break.
Oh, it was a long
But,
time
yeah.
before that.
No, it's.
But was
idea.
it 25?
When Roseanne came?
Doesn't
Miss Broken?
disclose. Yeah.
When
Was yours
Kelly
broken?
was here to
No?
talk about it.
Kevin with the deets.
I can
My
check.
phone just
This
died,
one.
so I don't
You
know.
got deets.
My phone died, Marilyn, I have a brick.
Okay.
October 24.
It was last year.
October
A year
30th,
ago.
exactly a year ago.
Look at
Wow.
that.
A year ago, this very night.
Wow.
Thundercrack, lightning.
We got enough of that.
Okay,
Not
North
thunder, but
6th.
rain.
Yeah.
Follow up. Okay. Anything else?
So David's asked me to tell everyone there is a drag show happening on Banker's Anchor right now. Triangle of Madness. If anybody would like to come, it's happening on Banker's Anchor.
I hope it's not
I
raining,
have to go
I know,
home
that's
and
what I
take
said.
my medication.
because that makeup will run, girl.
Paul?
Motion
Yes, sir.
to
I
dismiss.
said you-
Yeah,
you
motion.
know
Motion to
my
adjourn.
phone.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait.
Paul, would you be a good man, please, and take pictures?
You feel better? It's good to see you as always.
This